Hey, it's Matt Pinfield. It's Friday. It's In a Lonely Place with Matt Pinfield. Yes. My girlfriend and I broke up a year ago, so I live alone, and I named it after the Bogart movie, you know, the Smithereens and New Order song. And I want to say that I am so excited about my guest today. You know, we're doing this for charity. No money's being exchanged. It's for Music Cares, a company that's helped me out in the past. It's doing a lot like to help musicians right now and people that work in the music industry to pay their bills and figure out where their next meal's coming from. I mean, so what I said, I'm going to do this show, and I'm going to do a thing where I hang out with the people that I love, the musicians that I love. I'm going to call my friends, and then I'm going to talk about their favorite records of all time. So I called my next artist, earlier in the week, because I love him from the minute I met him. Dominic Harrison is just one of the coolest motherfuckers there is in the world. When I met him, man, I was told by my sister, who was my assistant at Columbia Records, now the global head of rock for Spotify, Allison Hagendorf. She said, Matt, and you listen to Yungblud stuff? I go, yeah, it's fucking great. And she goes, you and him are going to be the fucking best of friends. You're going to hit it off. And she couldn't be more right. So I want to introduce you to one of my favorite artists in the world. And in my opinion, one of my favorite artists, right now, one of the most important artists in the world, it's Yungblud.
Yo, what's up, Mr. Pinfield? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Good, man. Rock and roll. I'm just chilling, bro. It's a bit weird. I like your T-shirt. That is a sick T-shirt.
Yeah.
Repping us Northern boys.
I love that. The night we met, right? What I loved about like all your singles and your early singles, whether it was something about like parents aren't always right, it's about things that how people are behaving. There was social consciousness in everything and human condition, and we're both ADHD, ADD guys, so we're both, you know what I mean? Which is exactly. So but I loved you the minute I met you. We were at a dinner, and Allison introduced us, and we sat and we talked about Manchester, Northern England.
Just good old British rock and roll, man. You know what I mean? That's what I loved about you. I called you, I put you on my Instagram, and I called you the rock and roll Gandalf.
Thank you, man.
The rock and roll wizard, man. You know what I mean?
It means the world to me. I loved the last time we ran into each other on the street. I was singing at that Clash London Calling tribute thing. I'm standing outside and I'm just here, Matt, and you jumped out of the car and you fucking hugged me. You go, you're my American dad, you fucking rock and roll American dad. And you hugged me, and we hugged, and you went back and took off in the car. It was the coolest thing.
But I remember we were driving. Where were we going? We were coming from one place to another, and I said, that's fucking Matt Pinfield, that. Pull the car over, jumped out in the middle of traffic, ran across the road and give you a cuddle. Because I was like, do you know what I mean? There's last fucking, you know what I mean? You're a bit of a... You love rock and roll music like I do. Do you know what I mean? I think it's so ingrained in your soul. So I was like, there's a lot of people, you know what I mean, especially in music right now, who don't have that. So I was like, I've got to fucking give him a cuddle.
Yeah, good for that, man. Thank you. And it's amazing to me. Like, there's this thing where you growing up in Northern England, being a North Country boy, as the Charlatans once said. But but
North Country boy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But for me. I gotta ask you, because it was so cool, Dominic, that your grandfather played with T-Rex, Mark Bolan, man.
Yeah, man. He to be honest, my granddad's like 75. He looks like he took a bit too much acid in the 70s. You know what I mean? he's got flares and shit, and his hair's proper curly. And he used to be a musician. He used to play like in Guernsey off the coast of the fucking UK. And I remember he auditioned to be the bass player in T-Rex. Didn't get it. Got down to the final 3. But he played with him a couple of times. You know what I mean? When they came up to Donny and that. So yeah, it's crazy.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's great. I mean, for me, the other thing that was so absolutely endearing to me about you, I loved you like from the minute I met you, was that you are absolutely right now. You are one of the most important artists in the world. At the same time, you do look at the history of music, and you're also very proud of all the great stuff that came from Northern England.
Completely. As I say, man, that was ingrained in my soul. You know what I mean? Like Joy Division, the Arctic Monkeys, Stone Roses
Oh man, yeah.
were just kind of so available to me. Do you know what I mean? The pictures were still on the walls of the streets I used to walk down. They were just fucking peeling off. They're on the last legs, but you know what I mean? They were there, and as I say, like I had family in Liverpool, and I had family in Leeds, and I had family in fucking Newcastle. All these industrial cities where this miserable rock and roll baggy music came from. And I don't know, man. I just got infected by it. You know what I mean? I got infected by what it meant. You know what I mean? What it meant to culture. And as I say, like, I think to a northern person, that music means so much because the society there is you go out and you get a proper job and you fucking get married and you fucking live. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to explore things in terms of my sexuality, in terms of life, in terms of my identity, in terms of what I wanted to do. And this music gave me this sense of freedom. You know what I mean? I always remember that Patti Smith quote, man. Do you know what I mean? Of her saying, like, punk ain't about for dick. You know what I mean? Punk ain't about the music you play. It's about freedom. And I was like, that just hit me in right in between the eyes. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck, yeah.
Yeah, I love Patti Smith, man. You know, she's two guys from where I grew up are in her band. I mean, and they're older than me, but I love that. Patti, like, man, that shit was so cool when I was a kid. I love that stuff. And, you know, of course, I was young when all that stuff was going down, but I was so into all that because I love the idea that you don't have to have a uniform to be punk. You don't have to have a uniform to be authoritative. It's just express your fucking self.
That's it, man. And that's the thing about it. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of I think that's why rock and roll music struggled in the past couple of years because there was a lot of people trying to claw onto it, trying to hold it back. You know what I mean? But rock and roll is, you can't fucking trap it.
Yeah.
Or you've been the opposite of rock and roll. You've been a mathematician. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. You know, you're so right, man. Because the idea is the freedom of expression and creating in music has always been about the freedom of doing so many different things and not worrying about and the marriage of different styles or whatever you synthesize through your mind that you love, whatever you love. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about what you're doing, and you know, and what you've been doing. And I want to tell you that, like, it's just, you know, you have to understand because I was never that guy. Because you got to remember, I was a kid in school turning people on to, you know, the Clash and, you know, the Jam and Buzzcocks and everything. And then, but I never stopped being that guy ever, you know, through those years of 120 minutes on MTV, on the radio. I was never that guy who goes, there's no good music out. I'm like, bullshit. There's always great music out.
Completely, just got to find it.
Man, like, right. There's so much great stuff.
Jinx.
You know?
That's it, man. And as I say, like, I don't know. I just was so lucky to kind of be accepted for the music I wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? Just because it was always about saying something, you know, and saying something that, because I felt like every time I said something, no one was listening to me in my normal life. So I was like, I don't fit in this world. So I want to build a world where I can exist with my family and belong somewhere. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I've got to ask you, Dom, like, you know, when you were a kid, talk to me about your youth, you know, growing up and literally like your first exposure to, I mean, we talked about obviously all those, you know how much I love and was involved with all those bands you talked about. But I mean, when did you realize that you knew that music for you was going to be the outlet? It was going to be that thing.
I remember there were about 4 bands in my local area. And there was a band called, there were so many bands. We used to play at the Leopard in the Vintage Rock Bar in Doncaster. And there were 4 bands in the schools around where we grew up. And the key was, we got to be the fucking best. Because to be the best in your little town, you fucking, do you know what I mean? You're going to the pub and it's like, oh, it's that kid, that's that singer that. And you used to get a kick out of it. Do you know what I mean? And my band wasn't the best. We were shy. I remember we were absolutely shy. But I remember I would rehearse and I would write these songs. I was about 12 or 13. And to hear these songs not like that have come out of your head from some fucking place back to you in a room, I was like, I can't do anything else for the rest of my life. or I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? It was that like it was that thing, and it was hard. You know what I mean? Because as I say, like there were so many much cooler bands than better players than us and me, and even right now, man, we ain't the best players. You know what I mean? But we got a spirit. I think.
Hey, you got the spirit and the soul, man. And you know, there's a funny story. Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine tells me about he and Adam Jones from Tool, like work. They go like there was a cover band with perfectly feathered hair, and they were the perfect musicians. He goes, we could do this shit, so we made up our own shit. Look at Ray. Where's that band now?
Yeah, it's mad, and I think that's it. I think music's about soul. I think that's how you. At the end of the day, all I wanted to do was find a family. All I wanted to do was find people who think, breathe like me. And I was so lucky to find that, man. Do you know what I mean? And like, as I say, like every time when we go on stage, it's electrifying, I think. And there's this moment where it's like a fucking war zone around you, where there's screams and the jumping and the bouncing and the fucking chaos is going on around you. And you just stood on stage and you're just completely still, seeing all this shit going around you. And that's where I feel electricity and peace.
Yeah.
Amongst the fucking
chaos in our minds, right? I mean,
the madness.
I feel this in you and I have talked about this before, but we have a kindred spirit with you because it's the same thing where like music saved us. It was everything
Absolutely.
we loved. It was what we had to do, had to be involved in. And man, I got to tell you, so. But what the first time we went out, we went out all night. We were like hanging out like pretty much all night on No Wild, you know. But it's listening to your music and the fact that you're not. It's got real things going on, things that go on in your head, and I think that's why so many people, young people, and for me, and growing up, and I'm sure you too, I needed that. I needed to know it was all right to be different, all right. To be different, all right, to be louder than everybody else. You know, like,
absolutely, man, and that was it. I like people would fucking. I remember I'd come home and people call me a puff, inverted commas, for wearing nail polish, and you're too fucking loud for to be around here. And I would just walk around like I felt like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't wait to get home because I'd open up my fucking. I remember I'd open up my iPod. Do you know what I mean? I have an iPod and I'd be walking down the street and I put on The Cure and I put on Joy Division, and it was all right to be an outsider. It was all right to feel out different, and no matter how much they kicked my face in the mud or trod me through, I would one day find people like me and figure out a way of being able to fucking walk down the street and breathe and meet these people, and it was so hard, you know what I mean? It was so fucking hard. Like, I remember I just felt every single time I would turn a corner, someone would spit in my face. Yeah. And my brain felt so mashed and manipulated and just like I just wanted to just fucking throw myself in the fucking river. But I would hear Disorder come in. Do you know what I'm saying? I did
yes. You know, dude, it's all right.
And I would, and my head would just go, it's all gonna be all right. And then the next day I'd wake up and all this shit had happened. And on the walk home, I'd put that fucking thing on again and go, it's all gonna be all right. And then it'd happen again, and I put on Town Called Malice by the Jam. It's all gonna be all right. Do you know what I mean? And I felt like I was coming up from the water bit. Me, I'd fucking put in the water and I'd be like,
I still relate because, you know, I went through some bullying stuff when I was younger too, and I had an aneurysm when I was 15, and I looked like a freak. I mean, at that period of time, you could say that besides the fact that I got hit by that car and all that thing that you know about, it was the music thing that got me through. But then people were bullying you more. It was kind of like, the deal that it's all of a sudden you've got this weakness they see, or we're different. And again, you and I were outsiders, different, growing up. But I fought through that shit. But believe me, there were days when, I was like, why am I getting through this? I remember one day I was in a burned out car and a snowstorm came, and the car literally is in this field, and I was trying to get out of the snowstorm, trying to get back home. I'm just sitting in that fucking car going, what the fuck? What have I done to deserve this? Like the Pet Shop Boys or, or something of that nature. I was just, but seriously, I was really fucking sad and twisted up. But the music is the thing that always kept me going. And I looked at people that fucking bullied me or were assholes. I went, fuck you. I'm going to get through this shit. And you know what? And I'm going to be myself. And it's funny, as we're youths, and I'm sure you, Dominic, and you dealt with this, like the things that assholes told us and try to like make us feel bad about being, those are the things that people celebrate about us now. You know what I mean? Who we are.
That's what I mean. And I think I say that on stage a lot. I say that like that I got called a fucking freak and I got called a lot of things, but now I'm with my freaks and I'm with my mental rejects and I'm with, and it's a very interesting thing because you finally feel at peace. And I look down at the front row and I look at my people and I look at the back row and I look at my people and I look at the two boys giving each other a kiss in the mosh pit, because that's the only place in the world that can do that, because tonight they go home with their families and they put on a mask because they feel they have to. You know what I mean? I remember the show at Bristol Academy. I just saw two lads just kiss before they got swallowed up by a mosh pit. And I think that'll be a real big moment for me in my thing, because I remember seeing the Arctic Monkeys in Sheffield and feeling like that was the only room in the world where I was dumb. I was truly dumb. And that moment made me go, oh, fuck. They're at my show and they're expressing themselves and they feel this sense of love and electricity. And it just sent my mind into a spiral, because I almost saw myself in the crowd, like at 13, looking like I crawled out of Satan's arsehole as a kid, going like,
watching Alex and those guys, right? Yeah, and fucking those shows. I just want to tell you what's amazing about that is true. Is like what I love about that and you. I love we always have to embrace people for who they are. And you know what? I was called, fucking madman, a freak, like you were. It's just like this guy. And and there were times when I wondered, I'm like, I'm going to keep fighting through this. But am I ever going to get a place to express myself and my fucking insane love for music, turn other young people onto it? And man, it happened. And it was just fucking beautiful.
That's so cool.
There were a lot of motherfuckers that told me I was not going to get there. And, and so what I'm saying to you is, I also love the way we have to embrace all sexuality. We have to embrace people being themselves. For me, I was a nightclub DJ in the coolest alternative club. This is a place that everybody from Radiohead to like Nine Inch Nails came that I spun at. And I told the story a couple of days ago, but like a friend of mine worked for Oasis and Ignition and those. Radio like, we're going to New York for the first time. Pablo Honey, and she goes, "Fuck New York. There's nobody great DJing there. Go to fucking New Jersey, to New Brunswick, and meet Matt Pinfield." And we were like, and then I took Radiohead out to the diner. We were like, it was just this.
Wow.
It was this amazing fucking moment. But what that was that this club that I DJed at, the Melody, it accepted everyone. It was like the gay community, a huge gay following, a huge, transgender following. I had You could be a lawyer, a jock, a freak. It didn't fucking matter because it was about the music that I was spitting.
That is so
and the warmth. And I always embraced people, from the heart. And I love that about you, man. So you know what I mean? Like, I just want you to know, you giving so many people your honesty, your soul, the things that you've grown up with and gone through just means the fucking world, because we have to pass that on, It's the relay, so it's really fucking important,
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah, Hey, so Tom, tell me about, like, when you first started recording. All right, so you knew you were going to be doing different stuff, but people realized that you really had a voice. You wanted to talk about real things.
As I say, man, it wasn't the fact that I just had a voice. I wanted to encourage people that they have a voice. It's like, yeah, fuck. I remember I was in London and I recorded the first record, King Charles. After this, a massive. I'll backtrack a little bit. I went down to London and I started to be a fucking singer and started to jump on this train, whatever that this train is, and I remember people like this political kid in makeup. It's never gonna work. I remember going to an office in Kensington High Street to the top floor, and someone going, "This is never gonna get played on Radio 1."
And of course it did, Andy, right?
I just remember that sent me into a real spiral, and I diluted myself as an artist for a long time. Someone asked me to go on The Fucking Voice, and I considered it because I as 16 years old, when someone tells you that you could be whatever, you consider it. And I think after that, I spent a year to 2 years of my life trying to be something I wasn't, and I met a guy called Matty Schwartz, who I kind of do a lot of my writing with still.
I love Matty. He's such a great guy, man.
Yeah,
so you, me and him running around together, but yeah, man, I love that you guys found that ground together.
He just looked at me and he was like, "You ain't this." He's like, "I see it in you." He interviewed me almost before we started working together. He's what bands do you like? And I told him, same shit I tell you. And I played him this record. He sounded like, "You sound like fucking a pop star, and all them other pop stars are better than you at it. So why are you doing that?" And I was like, "Fuck, he's right." So I went away and I just figured out, and I was like, "I've got a voice.
Yeah,
I have something to say." And now, when the music comes out and the community come together, and people who feel like they can't be themselves come in and go, "I have a voice," the rest of us go, "Yeah, you do."
Yeah, we do. Right. And it's amazing. So you and Matty, man, the songs that you've done, like, there's a lot of things I love, obviously. Loner, there's just a bunch of stuff that I was like, I was just, for me, it was like I was so excited about you because, like, this guy is, and Polygraph Eyes and songs like that. And I said to myself, there is something really special about this young man. And I know it sounds funny, right? But, I could be your dad, but I always say, I love the songs that kept coming from you. Stuff you and Matty were doing. The EPs were great. And there was always something behind the lyrics, which was so important to me. I felt like even, no matter what it was doing, no matter whether it was tongue-in-cheek or it was a lesson learned, you fucking meant it. Like, it was coming from your soul. And I knew that. And, I thank you. And I want to tell you, there are so many young people out there that love you that it means so much to them.
Dude, it's just about telling the truth, man. There's been a lot of shit told to us in the past couple of years, and I was just like, no matter whatever happened, I was so sick of lying about myself, about who I was, to everyone else. I was like, I never want to tell another lie about who I am again. So this is me. Love me or hate me. I think that was it. When you try and impress so many people by being someone else, it hurts more when people don't like you because you're trying to be the perfect person. And you're like, but if you've been who you are and people fucking hate you, you go, well,
who I am.
So yeah, so then that's all people can do,
It really is, absolutely. And for me, with you and that thing and those songs, you grab people's heart. And so let's talk about you and Matty and some of the other collaborations that you did. Like working with Machine Gun Kelly, and I ran into our mutual friend Travis Barker recently. He said he's done a few duets with you guys lately, which they're not out yet, right? Or
we did one, and then we've obviously been in the studio as always because we're just best mates, you know what I mean? And we always write together. Travis is the best, man.
Isn't he like the sweetest guy? I mean, he's such a music lover. He's got that thing like I do. We're always like, man, there's always something great, and there's great stuff in different genres, and this is so like it just got me so excited, man. You, him, Machine Gun Kelly working together. So
dude, that's it, man. I think that I was obsessed with Travis Barker my life. He was in my fucking bedroom wall. Travis Barker has seen me do very naughty things. You know what I mean? Very fucking naughty things, but he's just a rock star, and I think you meet your heroes sometimes, and they can be arrogant and they can be arseholes, but Travis Barker was just real, was everything I ever wanted him to be, and everything I believed he was as a kid, as a nipper, and it was amazing. Do you know what I mean? I still love working with him. You know what I mean? I get excited when I'm driving to the studio. Yeah,
because he's just, and what he's gone through. Like we had a conversation recently at this iHeart concert. It was a Billie Eilish. Everybody, we were all there, and he goes to me. He goes, man. He goes, Matt, you fucking look better than you've ever looked in your fucking life. He goes, I know you went through getting hit by that car and fucking thrown 15 feet in the air. He goes, I just want you to know it's not lost on us that we're fucking psyched you're here and you're alive. And which made so it meant a lot. It meant so much to me.
That's so sick.
I was obviously a big supporter of Blink and all that stuff, and even his band before that, the Aquabats. Like I had those guys, all of them on 120 Minutes back in the day on MTV, and so it's a long-term relationship. So talk to me about Machine Gun Kelly, because I loved him in the dirt. I also saw him do something that was really fucking cool. So we're sitting at the punk rock documentary thing, and he's like two people down from me. And Johnny Rotten, look, I love the Pistols. And I love
John Lydon, yeah.
Yeah, but he was like starting a bunch of shit with the people that were on stage. Machine Gun Kelly got pissed off. He's like, fuck you. And he was like, what? He went wild and he walked the fuck out. And I went, that fucking I love it. Everybody just having the balls to just say, hey, this is bullshit, motherfucker. It was, and he was so great in the dirt. But
yeah, man, he don't have a filter, and I fucking love that because I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's the thing about it. Like, if it comes to his head, he'll say it, and I love that about him. I think that's why we got very close very quickly and very mutual. Do you know what I mean? We got very, 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 very close because I think we just tell each other as it is. And I think when you're surrounded in it, especially in music, with a lot of people who try and fill your head with bullshit, it's like, good to hear that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I do know that, man. Yeah. Hey, talk about Original Me. You and Dan Reynolds working on that. Like, how did that come about?
Dude, it was crazy. I was in New Orleans, and Dan Reynolds just rings me and goes, yo, it's Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons. I was like, yeah, fuck off, whatever, put the phone down. Yeah. And I got it a number, and he called me and he's like, all right, it's Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. And he's like, I love the stuff. I love your fan base. I love your community. I love what you're about. Do you want to get in the studio? I was like, yeah. We got in the studio, and it's this mad fucking bouncy ball thing between us where we're both, again, riddled with ADHD, like, and then that song came out. And I think you can hear that aggression. I think you can hear that madness inside it,
Yeah, I love it, man. It's just so good. I think there's a really interesting thing about your collaborations with people because there's a lot of soul. You can hear something going on with all of it. Now, talk to me about the new single, Weird, and like
Weird, yeah.
Wednesday, which I love. Wednesday, you dropped Weird, and fucking great song.
Earth Day. Earth Day.
Yeah, can you drop it? Tell me about it, start to finish, from writing it to releasing it. Like, just give us the story.
Weird was interesting because I wrote that at the end of last year, and the past 18 months or 2 years of my life has been the weirdest fucking experience ever imaginable. Do you know what I mean? I think I went through a time in my life where I just couldn't fucking grasp it. It was like I was trying to catch smoke. You know what I mean? If my life was smoke, I was just trying to catch it, and it kept slipping through my fingers. And I nearly lost my mum. I nearly lost my mum. We got really big really quickly. Do you know what I mean? We were traveling all over the world, non-stop, all the time.
Yeah.
I fell in love. I fell deeply in love. I experienced heartbreak for the first time. I got almost everything I could ever imagine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was still anxious all the time, and I felt a little bit depressed, and I couldn't figure it out. It's like, why the fuck do I feel like this? And then the Brixton Academy show came.
Yeah.
And 2.5 to 3 years earlier, my 3 bandmates living in a 2-bedroom house, tiny house in Clapham South.
Yeah.
Watching videos of Radiohead and Kasabian and Foo Fighters play Brixton Academy. And we played it and we sold it out. Yeah. And there was a line around the block, and I popped my head out the window and I felt all the love, and I walked on stage. I remember usually I appear behind a curtain because I'm still like, what's it look like? What's it look like to all my texts? And like, Dom, it's sold out. It's rammed. Every night I'm like, did everyone forget it was tonight? And then that night I didn't. I was like, this is Brixton. I'm gonna fucking be with my family. Everyone came down, and I remember I walked out on stage and I couldn't see anything because it was a kabuki, and it dropped, and I looked out and I just went. And I couldn't believe an idea that started between 3 people in a bedroom, or that started with a fucked up, messed up young boy who couldn't take a grasp of the world. I found my family. I found somewhere to belong, and I couldn't believe how many people were. I couldn't see the back of the room, and everyone was screaming, and I just went, this time in my life has been so dark. This time I couldn't grasp it. But it's all going to be all right, I think. And it was the weirdest time of my life, and I wrote that poem that night. And then after that show, we finished the tour, and my granddad lives in Spain. My mad acid-ridden T-Rex granddad lives in Spain. And I was like, Matty, do you want to go to Spain for a week and build a studio in my granddad's garage and fucking see what comes out? You know what I mean? Because I wanted to be with my family, and I flew my dad out to stay with me and shit. And then I wrote it on. I snuck out onto my granddad's roof, climbed up onto my granddad's roof, wrote Weird on the roof, and then recorded the demo in the basement.
That's fucking beautiful. That is so great. So your dad and your granddad and you and Matt, you were all there, which is so fucking cool. But you took that poem that you wrote that night. Man, Brixton Academy, what a beautiful fucking venue. And just the history of that place. But more importantly, like, I love the fact that I love you being so honest with your fan base. And, you know, you and I are the kind of guys that we just will tell people everything or how we feel, because I don't want to hide shit. And I love the fact that you talked about how weird a 1.5 years was, because I relate after being like almost killed, hit by the car, going through a breakup, same shit. You know, like
what's your star sign? Do you know your star sign?
I'm a Gemini.
Oh, okay, I'm a Leo. So it's like,
yeah. That's it.
I always, if you know what I'm thinking. No,
I know what you're thinking. Yeah, absolutely. But man, you know, it's another reason why I loved you, because of all your lineage, your songwriting, and it comes so much from a place of the heart. And so talk to me about being in love too, because man, listen, it's always been a hard thing, you know.
I love love. I think
I
think love is the most pure, it's like an elixir form of expression that can ever exist. And I think to be loved and to love in return is the most powerful thing in the world. that doesn't necessarily in any aspect. You know what I'm saying? To a brother, to a sister, to a mother, to a son, to a lover, to a lover. I think that love is the most important thing in the world, no matter how hippie that may sound. You know, and
no, but it's so important. It's true, man.
And that's why I wrote Weird. You know what I mean? I imagined Weird as an alternative couple in Camden Town in matching Fred Perry on a bus with it pissing it down outside, and the windows are so full of condensation because it's so hot in the bus, and they're sharing their earphones. Is that line? I want love sharing earphones on the bus, and I'll wake up next to you in Glasgow. And I wrote that line about my ideal. That's what happiness looks like to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I was talking about this movie from Ireland called Sing Street.
I know that movie.
You like that? Isn't it great? I fucking love that movie. Where they're starting the band in the '80s, and and it's the girl who was also the woman who was in Bohemian Rhapsody. Man, I love that, and I remember watching the movie with one of my exes, and I love the beauty of it being in a relationship when you can laugh and cry together, but there's also that thing that you're talking about. You're talking about sharing heaven and lyrics that you wrote about that.
I have so much love in my heart right now, especially between me and my fan base, man. There's so much love in the air.
Yeah.
Especially right now, especially in the times. The thing about it is, no matter how weird or dark these times are going to get, man, as long as we remain in love with each other, then it's all going to be all right in the end. Genuinely, I believe that. And I think, the planet, man, is giving us a slap in the face a bit, because humans have neglected humanity for a long time, and we've been neglecting the planet, So I think the planet Earth, Mother Earth, if you like, is telling us, you get yourselves back in line.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I got to say, Don, it is the strangest time in my lifetime. I've lived through a lot of stuff, but the one thing that's beautiful that's going on is us as people, as a race, as a universe. We're sticking behind each other, man, and we're keeping each other going. And the greatest thing in the world is me calling you up and going, "Hey, Dom, will you do the show?" And you're like, "Yeah, man, I'll fucking do the show." And it was just
good impression. So I think that's exactly what I said. I think that's a good impression.
Because I loved you, and I was like, I'm just going to call Dom myself. I'm not going to worry about anything else. And then I'll have him connect me with, Gavin, his manager. And because I knew you and I had to connect, and made that phone call. And I love
that, man. I loved that you called me. Do you know what I mean? I was just of course I want to come speak to Matt fucking Pinfield.
Yeah, thanks, man. It means the world to me.
Rock and roll wizard.
Thank you. Hey, so, I got to tell you, I love your musical taste. The night we hung out for the very first time, we just went off about records, because I've always been a big Anglophile. My last name Pinfield is from the Midlands, the Black Country, and I'm but I just since I was a little kid, discovered the Beatles, Stones, and the Who all the way through, Buzzcocks, Jam, Clash, everything, like you said, the Roses, Oasis. I love so much music from there, and the first time I went there was a band called The Wonder Stuff. My friend Miles Hunt, I loved him so much. He brought me over there in 1989 with him, Ned's Atomic Dustbin, all these bands, and I got to see England for the first time, and it was fucking brilliant for me, since then I've been there, when Wonder Stuff and Nirvana and Public Enemy were headlining Reading in '92. Been there with bands I signed, but I just, I've got so much love for the country and the history. And the fact that what you were talking about earlier, when you said young people, they're there, and especially, they're like, what are you going to do with your life? Are we just going to do what we're supposed to do and follow and work in this thing? Or are we going to write songs? Or are we going to express ourselves? And there's that brilliant, brilliant beauty of what has always been, that in me for rock and roll in England, So, I've been in touch with Jack Bates, who plays bass in the Pumpkins, who is Peter Hook from New Order and Joy Division's son. And so I've known Peter Hook since, I guess Well, I saw New Order's one of their first shows in America, where Bernie wouldn't even face the audience. Only one single out after Ian Curtis died. But I loved them, you know, and I was a huge Joy Division fan. So I'm going to talk right now about the records that you picked that are essential to you in your heart and in your life.
Yeah.
First one you picked, I love so much, Unknown Pleasures, Joy Division, you know, and let's talk about why you love that record.
As I say, I was speaking about it earlier, no matter how dark I would get, no matter how much stick I'd get in the daytime, do you know what I mean? Disorder, I'd put Disorder on in my ears.
Yeah.
And that's the start of that album, and then, you know what I mean, like going into Day of Lords, and then all the way down to She's Lost Control, and all those records, man, it just hit me in a way that I was like, complete, you know, and the sound, the way it was imperfect and naive and just fucking, just raw, and yeah, that album was like really impactful to my life, you know.
Yeah, Shadow Play too was like when that bass line would come in, and it was like just this. And I love what you talked about. The beauty of great music is the imperfections. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's
it just, and that was the way they sounded. You know what I mean? And that was it. That was the way they sounded, and at the end of the day, it just captured a feeling, and it captured the darkness in my belly. Have you seen the film Control?
Yes, I have. Absolutely, 100%.
I remember watching that film. I always say it's a bit of a joke in my fan base. People are probably commenting now, like, "Shut up about Control." I'm like that, but I always express people like. I watched that movie and I was up for days. And Adam, come here, come say hello to Matt.
Yeah.
Adam's coming to see you. Adam,
Adam, what's up, brother? How are you? Adam, how are you, man?
Can you hear him?
Adam, how are you, man? Good to see you.
Not bad, man. Good.
How are you doing?
I remember Adam showing me Control for the first time in London. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And
It's my favorite movie.
It's like, I was like, blew me away. And do you know what I mean? Knowing like Joy Division back in the day and stuff, for him to was like, this is the visual of it. I was like, oh fuck, whoa, this is mad.
Yeah,
I love it.
Guys, I'll tell you a story you'll appreciate. So the Killers, who they wrote that song, All These Things that I've Done About Me, the night that he met me, Brandon Flowers, and it's well documented. But the amazing thing was when they covered Shadow Play, right? In the video, they had the thing where it's Joy Division on the TV and then Bowie on the TV and the posters. And they called me up and went, hey, Matt, man, we got to get this video done. And we don't have the rights from Bowie's people to use Bowie. So I called Isolar and said, and I got it done in fucking 20 minutes and got the release done for the fucking video of Shadow Play from Bowie, which was so fun, pretty fucking cool, because Bowie was one of my heroes. And we have this incredible history, but that was cool, that whole tie-in. But it was holding up the release of the single and the video, and I got it done.
That's crazy.
Pretty fucking cool, right? That was great. But man, it's a wild history we all have. You know what I mean? With people we love, and we're lucky we get to work with music and people that we love. Speaking of which, the next album that you picked is one of the first things we talked about, and I'd be sitting here.
Adam's gonna go.
Hi, Adam.
He loves you.
And I love him too. I want to show you this because it's the next album you picked. It's a prized possession, but it's you and I bonded over Oasis immediately. So here's my fucking platinum record for What's the Story, Morning Glory. One of my prized possessions, and generally it's on the wall in front of me. But I said I got to show it to Dom today, because I was eventually going to have you over and I was showing you all this shit. But since
that's crazy. That's fucking, that album literally fucking just blew my fucking mind. I remember that was one of the first albums I bought. I'd work in my dad's guitar shop and I'd get paid 20 quid. After the guitar shop, I went to HMV and I bought that. And then I went to get some fish and chips from a place called Rothwell's Chippy and Donny. And I went home, had a cone of chips and some curry sauce and blasted it.
Yeah, I mean, that's that record for me, and I love Definitely Maybe as well. But what's the story? Morning Glory. I had a connection to both records for in America, but Morning Glory, you picking that as one of your favorite albums ever. It's a perfect album, man.
Dude, I mean, of course it is, bro.
It's a perfect album.
Champagne Supernova, Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
I mean, yeah. And even the songs that, like some might say, Roll With It. Cast No Shadow.
Absolutely, dude. Like, yeah, dude. Just Roll With It was just, like, every time that comes on, I just fucking want to just get up and run about. Do you know what I mean? You gotta roll with it, gotta take your time. I just fucking, his chords and the way it came all from the Beatles as well. Just like, fuck, man.
And you know what Noel Gallagher told me, which was...
I know what you're about to tell me. And I tell this fucking whole story. You tell it, like I tell this story to everyone.
Well, maybe, there's many, but what I was saying about the way that the records were made is he said to me, he goes, you know what I fucking realized through Nirvana, and I'd written all these songs, that I could fucking write pop melodies with shitloads of distortion, but it still had the structure.
Completely. And tell them all why you wrote Live Forever.
I'll tell them why.
Tell that story you told me. Tell everyone that story.
Yeah, he told me he wrote. Yeah, man, when you and I were hanging out, Noel wrote Live Forever, and he told me this, at least at one of my interviews that we did together, just hanging out, and that, there was that track, I Hate Myself and Want to Die. And listen, man, everybody feels fucking defeated sometimes. I've been through things. But Noel said, and he loved Kurt, like he loved Nirvana. So he's like, I hate myself and want to die. Fuck, man. I want to fucking live forever. Well, so it was a reaction to that Nirvana song. And it was a song that I would drive in the car and sing to my oldest daughter when she was a little girl. It was always our fucking song. And my best friend who committed suicide went off a building, and we loved Oasis together. And the night before he committed suicide, we were talking about Oasis. I'd done my first show on K-Rock in New York City. I was hosting 120. He came up there with me, and it was just fucking, I remember saying to him,
I think the signal's dipped out. Tom, my brother, I think is it on my side?
It's on Matt's side.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. Is everything okay?
Yeah, we're hoping he just refreshes here, and we'll get him back on.
Oh no, he's chilling, man. Am I still on the internet?
You are. If you is there an album that you want to talk about while we try to get him back? There
man.
he is.
All right,
cool.
Matt's back. I was about to go and tell a fucking joke.
Okay. Guys, you good?
I was about to start juggling.
Yeah, keep going, Matt. You're good.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I never associate it with anything negative. I love Live Forever. And I'll tell you a funny story, Tom. I don't know what you and I talked about this the one time, but I was flying in to work on a record, A&R record, to LA. And it was the most fucked up day ever because the black ice that was on the streets of New York and New Jersey, I actually fell on my ass in 2 states in 1/2 hour. So I got and I fell on I slipped and fell on my ass. And then I get in a car. I go to the Village in New York City to pick up the band guys. And I'm like helping them bring a guitar downstairs. And the fucking ice, and I go, boom. And I fall down. I'm like, I'm fucking not getting out of this car until I get to the sidewalk at JFK. So I do it. We fly in and I land and we're like hungry. And we're like, let's go to the Cat and the Fiddle, the old Cat and the Fiddle in LA, which was an English pub. And so many people hung out there.
Is it still open, man? I'm dying to find a good English fucking boozer in LA where they can get me a good Sunday dinner.
Well, you know what? You and I should, when we can get out, they relocated on Cahuenga, and you and I should go. Because they do have, they have Coleman's, man. They have HP. They have like everything.
Oh, sorted.
Fucking great.
Dude, yeah, I'm missing HP. If anyone wants to send me some HP, I'd love that.
That'd be great. So I got to finish this quickly. I'll more about your thoughts, but you'll love the story. So I'm waiting to get served. Like, I want to get some food. I want to get another drink. And I go up to the bar. Guy comes up to me and goes, Matt Pinfield? Are you Matt fucking Pinfield? I go, yeah. He goes, it's fucking Bonehead from Oasis. And I go, Bonehead, dude. I was thinking about the fact of that first interview on TV you, me, and Noel did. And like the funny shit that we were doing and how that actually was so important to the history of 120 minutes and everything in my life too. And so he goes to me, he's playing guitar with another guy. And like, I just said to him, hey man, can I sing Live Forever with you? So we practiced Live Forever. It's on YouTube, me and Bonehead. You can find it outside. I'm a little drunk, yes, but it's really, you got to see
Best way, mate. Best fucking way.
But it was so great. So great. It was so much fun, man. But I love that you love that record. Yes, we are going to go out and get some good English food. The next one, you talked about this band before your next album. Arctic Monkeys, fucking one of the greatest album titles, too, for that matter. You know what I mean? I've always loved whatever people say.
Whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not.
And it's beautiful. Like, there's something about it. It's classic.
The thing about that album for me was it was literally like me. It painted a picture of me at home in Donny in an Adidas jacket, waiting outside a corner shop, asking people to buy me cigarettes. You know what I mean? That's what that did for me, and that was one of the first moments someone, as a poet, Alex got in my head. I was like, how does he know what I'm thinking, and he's never even met me before?
Yeah. But isn't that the beauty of what your fans have connected with you? It's that thing that you got from Alex or that you loved from other artists that now you're doing for the people that love your music. And that's what it's all about. It's all about like representing how people feel. When I was young, I was such a disenfranchised youth myself. I remember when Quadrophenia, The Who, came out, and there was all the lyrics about like just feeling awkward and, like it was just so much about it. And I just like, yes. And I remember telling Pete Townsend from The Who, I said, dude, thank you for writing that fucking record. You know what I mean? It meant so much to me. Hey, so let's talk about that Arctic Monkeys album. You know what? One of my favorite, I saw them play at the Mercury Lounge in New York City. Everybody was trying to sign them. They were on Domino in the UK. I loved them so much. One of my favorite songs that wasn't a single on that record is Still Take You Home.
Still take you home.
Yeah, he goes, you don't know nothing, but I still take you home.
That was fucking great record. I think that came out on favorite worst nightmare. I think that came out on the next one.
No, that was actually on the first one. But you know what? I'll tell you a funny story.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. But do you remember that EP, Who the Fuck Are the Arctic Monkeys?
What do you know? Said you know nothing.
Yeah, I love that fucking attitude, man. And I had Alex Turner on my radio show in New York City, and I said, you know what song I love is No Buses, which is on that EP.
Lady, where has your love gone? I was looking but can't find it anywhere. They're always off when there's loads of love around. When short to some, it's nowhere to be found.
I love that. Like, you feel good the minute that fucking song comes on.
Absolutely. That literally, yeah. Dude, that song, I listen to that every time I get my heart broken or someone fucking makes me feel like shit. I put that on. Pretend I'm at a bus stop in Sheffield and it's raining and I got a cig in my mouth.
Yeah, dude, that song's so great. And he said to me, he goes, man, I thought maybe I should have saved it for an album, but no. So he played it for me acoustically, which is fucking just beautiful. A beautiful moment. And he's a good fucking guy. I went and hung out with them, and they were making, the third album. Get an Avatar in New York City, and he invited me up to just hang out. And it was fucking genius, It was just nice, good breeze.
Nice kids, yeah.
Yes. Now the next thing, I was laughing because I pulled pictures off the wall. Here's me with a Cure on 120 minutes.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Tom, look at this. Wait, Tom, look at this.
Oh. Yeah, I just see it. This is it. It's like, it's really.
This is Tom. That's Matt with a Cure.
I
know.
That was literally on my wall, right in front of me, next to the Oasis plaque for Morning Glory. And,
wow, that's crazy.
I love Robert because it's he's always been just such a cool guy to me. But when I first met him, and I'm not going to tell those story because I've done it before on the show, but I first met him, he was being interviewed by a bunch of assholes who were like actually from respectable publications. And they're asking him the dumbest shit in the fucking world. And I'm like, I was coming up next because I talked to his manager. I'm on a college radio station. And I'll never forget that those people were such dickheads that when his road manager goes, hey, this guy Matt Pinfield, Chris Perry. And Chris, ran Fiction Records, produced The Jam, did all this stuff. Chris said you should be interviewed by this guy. And I'm a college, I'm like 18, right? 17. And I've said this on the show before, but I gotta tell you this. He crushes a milk carton and throws it across the room. And I walk up to him and I'm like, all right, what am I gonna do? And I go to him, I go, Robert, look, man, I don't really give a shit about the Cure, but I really want to talk to you about your mailman. And he goes, all of a sudden, he fucking smiles because he made a record called I'm a Cult Hero and I Dig You with their mailman who was giving him shit in an English pub going, you fucking rock stars, you go.
That's brilliant. That's amazing.
And they go, oh, you think you could do it? and he goes, I don't know. So they made a record with their mailman as a fuck off, which was so fucking cool. So when I told him that, he fucking lit up, man. And when I ended it, by the end, we were carrying each other out of the fucking interview.
I love that.
Fucking coolest thing ever.
But as if you thought that's fucking brilliant.
So Disintegration is one of your favorite records. It is a beautiful record.
Yeah, man.
And it was really the Cure's breakthrough record, their biggest record ever.
Dude, I think Pictures of You, man. I'm obsessed with it. I think Lullaby should be taught in schools as poetry. I genuinely think that those lyrics are ridiculous.
Man, Pictures of You is you saying that to me.
I'm going to put that on after this interview ends. I'm going to just whack that whole album on, I think.
Dude, yeah. And I love the long version too, Pictures of You. I'll take any version, but I just love how it's just a verse.
Yeah, dude. That guitar sound.
It's sadness, but it's that thing. It's that sadness, but comfort to you.
Completely.
From fucking heartbreak, right? So what are your other favorite songs? You said Lullaby. Lullaby's great too.
As I say, that's the thing about it, man. As I say, that should literally be taught in schools as poetry. Do you know what I mean? As I say, that fucking that tune. I don't know, man. I just put it on, and I like the darker stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? It's not. I love the Forest and stuff.
Oh my god, of course was. I could be your dad, as we said. So I went to see that tour for 17 seconds. Holy shit. Because it went from the very first album, which in America was called Boys Don't Cry, but Imaginary Boy, Three Imaginary Boys. Dude, it was just fucking
17 seconds is just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, Play for Today and M and those songs are fucking great. I love it. See, you and I have the same kind of taste, and I love. But here's the next artist on your list, which I love, is someone I also think is so fantastic. I love her so much. One of the guys who used to work for me and with me at Columbia, went to high school with her. They were friends. My friend Andrew Keller was friends with Stephanie. And I'm talking about Lady Gaga. Let's talk about The Fame, which is great.
Yeah, man. I think that record was so big to me because I think she was the closest thing to a new era David Bowie.
Yes, absolutely.
I genuinely think that she is just sublime in every way. I think visually, she's a real artist, man. Do you know what I mean? She genuinely paints a picture. You know what I mean? As I say, some artists are incredible because they're just fucking about the music, but she is about world building and welcome to 16 different worlds for every album.
Yeah, I love her for that. I think she's just so fucking talented. And she was a breath of fresh air, too. You know what I mean? I loved her when she came out. But I also love the fact that she always wanted to represent other people. Born This
Complete. That's what I'm saying. In the way she connected, she reminded me of My Chemical Romance and Green Day. She had fan bases like that. These cults of people, again, with something that I wanted to build. If you feel like you belong nowhere, then welcome
Well, come be with us.
completely.
Yeah. There's a band called Beach Slang that I love that have an album called The Things That We'll Do to Find People Like Us. A great album title. I always love that. I thought it was so fucking cool.
Absolutely.
I want you to, Stephanie Gaga was, last time I saw her, she was in the audience at the Cure show in Pasadena last summer. Like she loves the Cure. Which was so
dude, that's fucking amazing. I think, but as I say that, they're all cut from the same cloth.
Right, yeah. Like you, which is so cool, man. I love
I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy to even say
Isn't
that.
that
But
cool?
yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like in the same, but the similar beliefs, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's absolutely true. I love these records. This is, believe it or not, I'm just going to hold this up because someone painted this and sent it to me. But of course, everybody knows what a Bowie fan I am. In America, when he died, they were sending me, I was devastated, but they were sending me in a car from CBS to MSNBC to CNN International because not a lot of people really knew Bowie, and a dream came true for me that we met at a dinner at MTV and him and Ron sat across from me and I just was drinking Jack and Cokes because I was nervous, but this guy was my fucking hero,
Yeah, dude.
But hey, Dom, by the end of the dinner, we were like fucking, like you and I were, like just fucking hanging, loving music. Bowie actually asked me, and this is documented, it's in my book, but it's also like everywhere. By the end of the dinner, he goes, hey, Matt, listen, I'm going on tour with Nine Inch Nails. No one knows. I want some ideas.
Yeah, that was fucking crazy the way the show ran into each other and just went.
Yeah, and so he asked me he wanted my suggestions for songs that weren't singles. He's like, can you make me a list of songs you think I should do that weren't singles? So I got pictures from that night that I posted recently on my
Dude, that's crazy. I wish I was just like I wish I was on your belt buckle or something, just so I could be vicariously like.
Well, you are. I mean, what I mean is like, you know what, man? You have the spirit of everything that matters to me and I love. So that's why I'm such a fan of yours.
Thank you, Matt.
I'm grateful. We're friends, man. We're like, we love each other. It's a cool thing, So it's so good to have you that way. And so Bowie later, when he did Heathen, I ran into him one night. He goes, Matt, what are you doing after this? I go, I'm just going to go home to my wife and kid. We were displaced by 9/11. He goes, come have dinner with me. Bowie drove, like his car service took us. We went and had dinner in the back of a little Italy restaurant, and then eventually went over his place. And because he would call me, he goes, Matt, I need you to come over. I came up with some ideas for him, but not in writing, but more like him playing me songs and asking me like, which one do you think is stronger, whatever. Out. It's fucking crazy that one of your idols is asking you, for advice. So in a very bizarre way, I ended up A&Ring the Heathen album after he left EMI because of the Keyman clause with the people that were fired there. And, it was just wild.
Dude, that is mental. Dude, it's fucking...
I'm sitting across a couch from him. And it's a guy.
Shit. Wait.
It was the fucking craziest shit ever. But I want to just tell you that it was just one of my most incredible experiences, surreal in my lifetime.
Fucking mental.
So let's talk about Aladdin Sane, which is fucking such a great album. You picked that. And I love that you did because it's the album after Ziggy. It's more mental in the way.
Absolutely. He kind of got Ziggy went mental. So he got his confidence to be able to like push himself forward in a way that no other artist was. You know what I mean? It was like, so after the Beatles came back from India, do you know what I mean? After George came back from India, it was like, whoa. Into this uncharted territory that had never been kind of discovered, which was really cool. You know what I mean? Man. And the same as Gaga, man. Do you know what I mean? Just it was a world builder and a character builder.
Yeah, and with Bowie on that record, man, it's grittier. And it's got this thing, and it's really based on the fact that he was touring America. And it was just fucking insanity everywhere around him, which is beautiful. The song's like Watch That Man. It was about David Johansen from the New York Dolls. But Aladdin singing the title track is one of the most beautifully things ever recorded because he asked Mike Garson to play piano for him and goes, do some fucking, and just told him to do that crazy, like, jazz avant-garde thing. But then again, dude, right?
Mad for it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, I think, like, I always compare that shit, like, musically, like, I think that's what, like, Kanye West started to do as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like these musicians that fight, like, through music, express it, like, just go to completely uncharted territories, and that's why I respect him so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say about that Bowie record is cracked actor. I live in Hollywood. That's where I am. That song was about older dudes paying younger, either boys or girls for like young men and women for sex. The fucking song had so much balls, and the guitar playing was insane.
Especially back then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 1973. There was just so much about that record that was pretty amazing. And so I love that you picked that. Thanks for picking that too. I mean, I love your choices. And now we're going. We're going to keep on going. I'm just here. It's funny. It's in my phone. So the next record you picked, oh man, talk about a record that I've fucking cried with and loved. That you love, the Verve's Urban Hymns, fucking a masterpiece. Richard Ashcroft and those guys. Tell me why you love that record.
Dude, as I say, man, that was like, again, it was another one that was ingrained in my childhood. You know what I'm saying? I think like Lucky Man and Sonnet and Bittersweet Symphony was literally just about, it's the kind of the melancholy sadness yet happiness of music. Like, Tom, come back.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm saying, so all my boys in the house. All my boys in the house.
Hey, Tom, we were talking about how great Urban Hymns
come here as well. Sorry.
Fucking, I was the guy like who debuted all that Verve stuff on MTV in America, and I fucking loved those guys. I went and saw the Northern Soul tour, but Urban Hymns was this fucking beautiful masterpiece, as we said. Sonnet, The Drugs Don't Work, which he really wrote.
Someone told me a story about that. So one of my friends was like, apparently, like older dudes was like recording when they were recording that Real World, and the other band are in this big big massive studio, and he walks into like the fucking shit studio in like the fucking Harry Potter under the stairs thing, and then there's Richard Ashcroft just going, "Oh yeah, I just wrote The Drugs Don't Work."
Yeah, fucking genius. That's great, man. You know, he wrote that song about his father and having cancer.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It feels like it's from the perspective of him, but it's not about that. Do you know what I mean? It's about his dad.
Yeah, because at face value, I thought it was about like just how many drugs people like me have done over the years, and like just fucking. I'm just honest, man. I'm an honest motherfucking guy.
All right, man. You
did a lot of blood. Did a lot of crazy shit when I was.
There's no wrong with talking about drugs.
Yeah, but anyway, I would just tell you. So, Dom, I got to tell you this story. The song on Urban Hymns, one of my favorites, and you guys will love this. Is Space and Time, because fucking the lyric, and it's you and I've been through breakups not that long ago, and that line, there ain't no space and time to keep our love alive. We have existence, and that's all we share. Like the fucking lyrics, Ashcroft just fucking knew like there was something.
Yeah, man. As I say, man, like just as I say with all these albums, just talking about. Do you know what I mean? Talking about existence and talking about humanity and life. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And man, I just gotta say, tell me about you two guys. Tell me how you guys know each other, friends, playing together.
Tom, you tell them.
Tell me.
Wow.
Give me the story, man. We're just hanging out. So
everyone thinks that we've known each other for years and years and years because we're from quite close in the north of England.
Matt, I really need a wee. Let me go for a wee. Let Tom
go for a wee. I'll talk to him, and I'll stay here.
That's what I've been looking back at the thing. Tom,
and he and I are going to talk for a minute because what's going on right now with this show is the fucking honesty, man. Like, and how cool it is that we're home.
Exactly.
So
I agree.
Let's
go.
Be loose, and fucking real. So tell me about how you two know each other.
So we met on the 6th of March 2019. I remember it very well. Dom was just about to start his UK tour, and I was doing like a tiny bit of like indirect work for him through the label in the UK, and suddenly I got a call from his manager just the day before, and was like, "Oh, what are you doing this week?" I was like, "Oh, I've got some stuff on." He was like, "All right, drop it and come and do the Yungblud UK tour." And I was like, "Oh no!" and obviously I did it. I was just explaining how I got the call.
Yeah.
Come and do
How you guys became friends? Like that's
In
fucking.
Dublin.
in Dublin. Yeah, Dublin was the
In
first
Whelan's.
show, 2019.
Oh yeah, where are you? So are you from the UK or are you from Dublin?
He's from Leeds.
Yeah, I'm
He's
from Leeds. Yeah.
Are you,
from
dude,
20 minutes away from me.
Leeds, Kaiser Chiefs, fucking,
The boys.
Who live.
Oh, that Ruby.
That album, first album, Entertainment, and even some on that second album, Yours Truly, Angry Mom. I love those records, man. I championed those guys over here, and I remember the day I'm at South by Southwest, and Zane Lowe's there, and he's like, Matt, and we're talking, and we're at the show. Remember, you're the American Zane Lowe. He goes, and I'm the, and of course we know he's from New Zealand, but he goes, I'm the English Matt Pinfield. And it was the funniest fucking thing. It was great. It was funny. Zane. It was the funniest thing he said to me.
That's
it
amazing.
Was great. And we were at the show, and fucking Ricky had broken his fucking leg, but was still fucking doing like open and doing all the songs.
Yeah, man. Ricky.
Ruby, I love Ruby's so good, man.
Dude, I saw him at Leeds Fest in about 2014, I think, and he climbed to the top of like the truss at the side of the stage.
Really?
Yeah, and he was just like, hanging off it. I was like, you're mental.
Yeah, you'll die. Fuck it, man.
Yeah, it's fucking. Yeah, I love those guys.
Rock and roll.
Their spirit was so great for me. Now we're running out of time. I want to go to these two records really quick too, because I know you have to leave in a couple minutes. But I've been so involved in Green Day's history and career for a very long time.
Wow, dude, tell me about that.
They're my family, dude. Like, Trey and I and Mike and Billy Joe, we love each other. Like I was actually playing them on the radio, like Nirvana, before they even signed to a major label. Wow. And we go all the way back to the indie albums that they did on Lookout. And, but we did so much together on MTV. And even recently when they put out the new album, I did an interview with the guys, and they were fucking they hadn't seen me in a while. They're like, dude, you look great. Thank God you fucking survived that car thing. But I just went out with Trey really recently, when we could still go out, go see some comedy.
Yeah.
That one of the greatest. Tell me why you love that album, quick.
As I say, man, I watched Bullet in the Bible at Milton Keynes Bowl. That's my dream. If I could play Milton Keynes Bowl with my fan base like that in solidarity, then I think I would. I think that's my biggest dream of all time, to be there and just celebrate what we are. They built a culture, they built a community. You can see it on their faces. Every single one of those 65,000 people at that show are just there for the same reason and the same mutual sense of belonging. And it's fucking sick, man. Like, as I say, they just made me, as I say, when I was a teenager, when I was 12 or 13 or 14, I was just jumping about that shit in my bedroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those were American Idiot is genius. And I got to say this quickly before we go on to the next record. How amazing is it that a band can have two fucking landmark albums in their career? Like Dookie and then American Idiot.
Yeah, completely. It's so crazy that people forget about Dookie a lot of the time. Do you know what I mean? And it's mad. And as I say, I would love to meet him one day. I would love to.
You will. I'll make sure it happens.
Oh well, that'd be crazy. I think.
And you know what? Next time we hang out, or I'll call you next week. Like in a couple.
Have you heard of his son's band, Swimmers?
Oh yeah, I know his band.
Swimmers are crazy.
They're great. And Joey actually was on the 1 year relaunch of 120. Like, I was supporting him when he was in the other band before it. But it was like, I know the whole family, man. It's so cool. When I moved to San Francisco, the whole family of the Armstrongs, we were at a show, and like, they're fucking so embracing. They were the greatest people, giving me so much love moving to town at that period of time. But they're one of the greatest live bands, man. They just really are, And and still are. Now, I'm going to talk about this album because this band is from New Jersey, where I'm from. I love the guys very, very much. And it's funny, they grew up in a town next to my ex-girlfriend. They grew up in a town called Belleville in New Jersey. But I fucking remember the first time I saw them live, and Gerard Way went on stage. And I went, and I had two other bands on the stage that day, and I went, oh, fuck, I wish I'd seen these guys. But not about the other bands, but I was like, before Warner Brothers signed them. But I had the indie records, but I fucking went, holy fuck, they were that good. They were that great.
Yeah, they were just, as I say again, world builders about from the uniform to the way they perform to the influence from Queen, but in the new way. It just cut through my heart. It just melted my heart like butter and spread me all over the toast of fucking life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And their manager, Brian Schechter, saved my life once. And when I got hit by the car, and fucking TMZ likes me. So they no doubt they give people a lot of shit, but they always say nice things about me. But when I got hit by the car, so many press people were looking for someone to talk to. And Brian, who's just, a lovely guy, because we're all friends. Mike and Gerard, he handled, everything with the press, just hey man, this is the deal. This is what's up with Matt. He's going to be all right. He's alive. And then there was another time where he actually saved my life, which we'll save for another time. But Dom, the thing about you and I is you and I can fucking talk until the morning,
Yes.
And I love that we have had so many great conversations. And I want you to know how much I appreciate you taking the time to do the show today, because
always, man. As I say, when Matt Pinfield calls and says, will you come and do something, I say, yes, I will, Matt, because I love you. And thank you for being there since the beginning and always supporting everything we do. So we love you, Matt, man.
Yeah, I love you too, Dom. Hey, listen, I know you just moved to the new place. I'm sure you got a lot of shit going on, but I want you to know how much it means to me that you did the show. And I'll reach out to you next week because, just to check in. All right, man?
Love you.
I love you, man. Thanks.
Bye, Matt. Everyone show Matt some love. Love you, Matt. Bye, dude.
Yeah, take care. You got it,
See you
man.
later. Bye, man.